Am I your girl?
What the fuck just possessed both of us?
I'm singing Peach Pit and you're like
I turned into
demon.
something from, I don't know, something from like Star Wars. Maybe. Or a
And
demon.
this is Ghoul
Society. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
And welcome.
To Ghoul Society. That's my big sister Jamie.
And that's my little sissy pie poo-poo bear, Sara. We are grateful to be recording on the unceded, stolen territories of the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nations and the Lekwungen and Wasanich peoples, whose historical relations with the land continue to this day. As uninvited guests, we are committed to disrupting racism and colonial violence within ourselves, our families, and our communities. By listening to this podcast, you've officially been inducted into the Ghoul Society.
Hi everybody, we're back. It's been a while since we recorded
Yeah.
because our mom was here.
Hi, Mom.
Hi Mom.
I don't think she listens to the show.
But Opa does. Hi,
Hi,
Opa.
Opa. And Dad.
And Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. Of course, Dad always listens.
Yeah.
Dad's
Does he?
our-
I don't know. He hasn't bugged us lately.
I think he found out how to listen on another platform.
No way.
That's not YouTube.
Dad, are you using a real podcasting, listening, music platform? Because that
Maybe.
snaps.
Good job, Dad. Whatever you're listening on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's funny because
Flying through my teeth. I'm great.
I'm great. I'm doing awesome.
Yeah, everything is awesome.
Everything is cool when you're with your sissy. Well, I was just telling Sara before the podcast, before we started recording, that things are not good over here. But that's okay. We're just having a little bit of a quick little mentee bee
For like the
every
past
day
month.
for like the past year. But
Yeah.
I think it's premenstrual depression disorder.
Yeah.
PMDD for those who know. I think. I don't know. I'm going to talk to some people, do some research, figure it out. Because I just can't keep living like this. So I'm going to seek out the help that I need. I mean, I'm already trying pretty fucking hard.
You're doing your best and you just need some little bit of outside assistance.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
From medical community.
Yep. We're going to try some different things and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what's new with me. School is whatever. And
this is our getaway from life.
it really is. Actually, I really missed recording.
I know. Speaking of medical, I'm going to tell you what I was saving for the podcast.
You broke your leg?
Clearly not. No, so I was on the phone with my doctor yesterday and because I got some like blood work done and an ultrasound done. Guess what? There's nothing wrong with me.
Oh.
Whip-de frickin' do. That's good news, but also if you know me, you know that's also very frustrating news.
Yeah.
Because I was like, must be something going on.
Yeah.
Apparently there's not. Anyway.
It must be something unseen, unknowable.
Yeah.
Can I say what I think?
Yeah.
I think maybe endometriosis.
Yeah, I think it's probably endo because it's not PCOS.
Yeah.
Based on the ultrasound.
Yeah.
So it's probably endo.
Fuck. What
Yay.
a fucking nightmare.
Anyway, so then I was like, also, I struggle a lot with my skin. And although it's been getting better with my running and all that stuff, it's still the biggest nuisance of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm sick and tired of it.
It looks really good today.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But I have a little scarring, so my friend recommended this like topical gel that she uses.
Vitamin A?
No.
Or AE or whatever?
No, it's a retinoid.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I was talking to my doctor about it on the phone yesterday, and she was like, oh yeah. And she was like, oh, where do you want me to send it to? And so I told her the pharmacy, even though pharmacists can do it anyway. Like,
You don't need a prescription.
No, pharmacists can write prescriptions now.
What?
Yeah, for like most things.
Like you just go to the counter and you're like, I'm not okay. Can you write me this?
Like they have a lot more
autonomy, maybe?
Yeah, because there's such a shortage of doctors in BC. Yeah, there's a whole list.
That kind of makes sense because like I'm not gonna fucking call my doctor just because I need like, I don't know, foot cream for my foot.
Well, most people don't even have doctors, so like contraception is pharmacist now. Like if you want to start taking the pill or whatever, is whatever you do.
Wow.
You can just go to a pharmacist and be like, I want to start taking this. So anyway,
that's kind of amazing.
Yeah. So my doctor was like, oh, I'll send it to that pharmacy. And I was like, great. A couple hours go by. The pharmacist calls me. He's like, oh, I just have to like make an account for you, like put you in our system. I was like, okay. He's like, do you have any health insurance? And I was like, no. He was like, oh, did your doctor tell you how expensive this gel is? And I was like, no. He was like, it's $250. I said, I literally laughed. I was like, what?
Wait.
He was like, she didn't tell you? And I was like, no.
You have MSP. You have MSP though.
Yeah, but
like that covered my meds when I was taking meds. Like fully $0.
He told me that they couldn't do that, that it wouldn't cover it.
Actually, maybe kind of true because then I had to get cream for my toe.
I think it only covers certain things. Oh, no. And because I like probably essential things, this isn't really essential to my well-being.
Right.
But anyway, so then I was like, oh my God. And sorry, everybody. And then he was like, oh, I'm surprised she didn't tell you how expensive this gel is. And I was like, okay. And he's like, we do have other options.
Yeah.
It's not the exact same, but it's cheaper because it's like a generic.
Right.
Because I guess this gel, it's called Differin gel. It doesn't have a generic brand yet. So it's name only. Oh. So it's $250. And I was like, holy shit. And he was like, we have this other retinoid topical gel. It's a little bit different, but the goal is the same, to help with your acne and like your acne scarring and help your skin. And I was like, okay. He was like, it's $35. Okay. I was like, great, I'll take that one. Yep. He was like, okay. Because then he was like, I can write you the prescription for this one if you want.
Oh, amazing.
And then we'll keep the other one if you want to switch in the future. And I was like,
wow,
oh, that's
this guy,
so
gold star.
I know.
For this guy.
I know. And it was the one down the street from me.
Like
the new one.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, thank you so much. So I'm getting that today.
Shout out to my friend who used to be a part owner of that place.
I know. But then I was talking to my friend last night and I was like, you didn't tell me how expensive this shit is. She was like, well, the first time I got it, I had benefits. But she just got it from Shoppers, from a pharmacist. Like, she just got a new one.
Yeah.
And she paid $35.
What?
And she doesn't have insurance.
Wait, what?
So now I'm confused.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense at all.
I know. Okay. So I'm like, does the price differ depending on which pharmacy you go to?
It shouldn't, but maybe it does.
Yeah, because I was like...
That's so crazy.
Because she went to Shoppers, so big name.
Yeah, true.
And I went to a local
pharmacist.
But I was
$215 difference.
Yeah.
That would be actually outrageous.
I know. So I'm confused. Anyway, I'm going to try out this other gel.
Okay.
This other face topical retinoid gel.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it and see how that goes. But I was just like, this is a whirlwind. And shout out to that pharmacist.
Yeah, truly.
He's great.
Yeah. Shout out. If you listen to that show. That would be so obscure, but hi.
Hi.
That'd be so funny.
Yeah.
Well, in some other news for me, I finished knitting this sweater.
Yes.
My second sweater.
And it looks so good. You finished it so quick.
I know. I started it January 28th or 25th, and I finished it February 5th.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. That's the fastest
actually?
Yeah.
thought you started it at the start of January.
No.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That's my throat.
Not that long
took
ago,
you like 6 days.
I started on season 5 of Bob's Burgers, and now I'm on season 11.
And there's 14.
Don't remind me. I'm gonna be so sad.
Well, they're still coming out with episodes. It's not ending.
Oh, okay.
When it
great.
ends, our world will end.
That's right.
We love Bob. Have you seen the movie?
No, I'm gonna. Okay, this is the
watch
plan.
The movie.
I'm gonna finish all the seasons, catch up, and then I'm gonna watch the movie, and then I'm gonna watch Great White North. Yes. That's my plan. Also, I realized like I started on season 5 kind of arbitrarily because I've seen like season 1 and 2 so many times, but I don't know if I've actually seen season 3 and 4.
Oh.
So I might even go back and be like, did I see this?
Yeah.
And then there was also random episodes in season 5 that I apparently watched because I recognized them.
Oh.
Or like later on.
Maybe
and I was
it's
like,
with
why?
me.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
There was a couple where I was like,
It might have been like when we were living together and I was rewatching it on the TV.
Yeah.
And then you would come and sit and watch some with me.
Yeah, that could be it.
That's probably what it is.
Anyway, so if you're dealing with grief, just learn how to knit and watch Bob's Burgers or whatever TV show you love. The Great North
or Gravity Falls, because I'm rewatching Gravity Falls. Because when Montana works, I have a really hard time falling asleep, so I actually like have to fall asleep watching a show.
That's a good one to sleep to. Though, does it give you weird dreams? Because it can be pretty wacky.
No, I've actually been having work dreams lately.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's actually awful. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like having a dream about like checking someone out of the clinic. Or like I had a dream that my team lead got mad at me for the way that I've been like
typing
describing chart notes.
Oh.
So sometimes we like upload things to people's charts and I'll be like blah 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 physio report or whatever, some kind of report, whatever it is. And I had a dream that she got mad at me for not being that they're not like professional enough because it's not like all uppercase or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, but you do the same thing. And then I like woke up and I was like, what the hell?
No.
Like she wouldn't even like she would like obviously
she wouldn't even look
fine.
or care.
No,
probably.
she doesn't care as long as it says what it is.
Yeah.
And it's under the right person and under the right practitioner. It's all fine. And I was just so like, what the hell is this?
No, your anxieties are overtaking your dreams.
I know.
It's so annoying.
It is really annoying.
Well, should we do our real show?
Our real show instead of just sitting here chatting. Am I going first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay, are we ready?
Is it about ghosts?
No.
Oh. Really?
It's true crimey.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of missing like a good ghost story.
Well, next time I'll do something ghosty then.
You don't have to.
No, I probably will. It's just hard to find enough articles for the ghosties.
Oh, I know. The best way to get your ghost fix, honestly, is just to watch YouTube ghosters.
Yeah.
Like Twin Paranormal.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy Twin Paranormal
I know. I love them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they annoy me, but usually I
Clear.
love them a lot.
I mean, obviously, we're always going to get annoyed by the people we watch online.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. This week, I went down a true crime rabbit hole, which came from my previous episode on Kingston Penitentiary in Ontario.
Oh.
If you remember from that episode, when I was listing notable prisoners, I briefly touched on Wayne Boden, also known as the vampire rapist of Canada.
Oh. Okay.
So trigger warning.
Holy shit.
For sexual abuse and a lot of predatory behavior and violence and murder. This
is a fucked up podcast, so welcome.
So hi,
you're here now.
For those of you listening who are not true crime junkies, you might want to skip this episode.
Yeah,
because it gets a little gross. And you might want to tune into a more spooky one. So don't worry if you need to leave. And you can do so now.
Yep.
Great.
Do. Bye.
Okay, now that we've got that covered, we'll begin with Wayne Clifford Boden, who was born in 1948 in Dundas, Ontario, a community within Hamilton, and it lies on the traditional territories of the Adirondack, Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Mississauga nations. Like Canadian criminals and cases, like most of them, sorry, I couldn't find information on his early life because no one gives a fuck. But he's said to be a jock type throughout school and was considered good looking for the time.
Okay.
At some point, like most fucking serial killers.
Yeah, truly.
At some point, likely after high school, he moved to Montreal, where he began working as a traveling salesman and businessman. I don't know. I saw both.
That's always the ones, like, if you're a serial killer, that's your calling job.
Yeah, he also worked as a model, like part-time. Like, he just picked up modeling gigs.
Strange. Oh, actually, the more I think about that, the more it kind of makes sense. Because if you are good looking, like, people are going to be more drawn to you as a person.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
So it's the late 60s in Montreal. The 60s was a time of change in Quebec, but also in Canada as a country. Around this time, the Quiet Revolution for Quebec to become its own sovereign nation really started to pick up.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of political stuff going on.
Still, Quebec is like, get us out of here.
It hasn't ended.
No.
There was also an economic boom occurring across Canada and the US post-war, forcing industrialization, advances in technology, increasing in exports and trade, and more. Essentially, people were kind of happy. They were like, ooh, there's no war, really, except the Cuban Missile Crisis that happened in 1962. But that's not here nor there in our story. There's also a growth of immigration to Canada throughout the 1960s as immigration regulations changed slightly and were less overtly racist. They were still racist.
Yeah, and they still are.
Yes. But they, like, the immigration at the time, and probably now, I don't really know. I didn't really look into it too much.
Oops. Sorry, Finnerty.
Sorry.
Did I tell you about
No.
Hey, Finnerty, shout out. She was like, I just look, maybe take this part out, but she was
How
like,
we don't do enough for you, Sara.
No, she was like, I just don't know how you guys don't, like, if you don't know something, that you don't just want to go down a rabbit hole into that thing and try to figure out what it is. And so every time you guys are like, well, we don't really know, and then you move on, it drives me crazy.
My brain is too small to understand immigration regulations in Canada.
I know.
I know. Like, even this, I was like, huh?
I know. Anyway.
So at the time, the immigration regulations focused on immigrants from, quote, preferred nations in Europe, the Americas, and the Middle East, end quote. So that's where they wanted people to come from.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so communities were growing. There was people from multiple ethnicities, cultures. Montreal was becoming more diverse, and the city was booming. Woo-hoo. It was the place to be in the 60s.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
Montreal
is fun.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
So that's my snippet of Montreal in the 60s. The majority of my research for Wayne Boden came from an episode of a TV show which I watched called Crime Stories.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's season 2, episode 4, if you want to watch it. It's like 30 minutes. It took me over an hour to watch it, though, because I'd have to, like, pause it and then write it out and then go back.
I did that for my episode, but it took me, like, 4 hours.
Jamie's next episode is fucking insane.
It's a twofer.
Yeah. The first known woman to die at the hands of Wayne Boden is Shirley Audette. On the night of October 2nd, 1969, Shirley called a friend claiming to be scared, though she wouldn't elaborate, and soon ended the phone call.
What?
Whoa. Jamie's spilling her tea. Yeah.
Like,
she just, like, called her friend and was like, oh, I'm scared. I got myself into this situation. I don't know what to do.
Oh.
But she didn't. But that's all she really said.
That's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
And terrifying.
Yeah. The next morning, on October 3rd, her body was found in the back of an apartment complex where the fire escapes were. She was found by an officer, a crime reporter, and a photographer from the Montreal Star. So photographers there, first on the scene.
Oh, no.
Because I guess that was a thing in the 60s.
Yeah.
Like, the photographers were just there first.
They just got a tip? How?
Yeah, like...
Someone from the apartment probably saw and
called.
called.
Like the crime reporter and photographer from the Montreal Star, like, got a tip that there was a body, and then they, like, brought an officer with them. But, like, one. And then he, like, called other people.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird.
Yeah, right? Shirley was clothed without shoes, which were a few feet away from her. The coroner, who arrived shortly after the report was made, confirmed she was strangled and noted bite marks on her breasts.
Oh, fuck. I hate that.
While conducting the initial investigation at Shirley's crime scene, the police began noticing similarities between Shirley and a woman named Norma Villancourt, who was murdered on July 23rd, 1968. So Norma was a 21-year-old teacher who lived in a working-class neighborhood close to Shirley. She was home alone when she heard a knock at the door of her apartment and opened it. Around 4:30 p.m., the police got a call from a man saying a young woman had fallen ill and needed help.
So that was him calling.
So the police go to her apartment where they find her naked on her bed with bite marks on her breasts.
Ugh. Ugh, gross.
And they believe she was strangled after being raped.
No. And she's just a baby.
Yeah.
She's just a baby.
I know.
Fuck.
Unfortunately, they didn't find any fingerprints in her apartment that didn't belong to her. And the front door was intact, which led investigators to believe she let her murderer inside. But also, like, you can open your door to someone and they can force their way in.
Yes.
And your door is intact, so...
Exactly.
Shut up, police in the 1960s.
Yeah, or, like, you open the door to kind of see who it is, or it'd be like, what do you want? And if they have a gun or something...
right?
And they're like, let me in right now.
Yeah.
Then, like, you're going to comply.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and I think this is what Paul Holes would say, is that even if they have a gun, don't.
Yeah.
Like, don't.
No.
And also never let anyone tie you up. That's another thing that I learned, too. Even if they're threatening you with a gun, like, they're going to do something way worse if they're trying to, like, tie you up or take you somewhere. Like... just fight as fucking hard as you can.
Yeah. The police struggled to find any leads through canvassing and were stumped on why the killer would make the phone call about someone being ill. Mm-hmm. And so, as is normal with the media, the police left out the part where Norma's breasts were bitten. So, in the late 1960s, crime and even murder was quite common in Montreal, actually, with someone reportedly being killed around once a week.
Oh. Like being murdered?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's wild.
So the city was booming, but it was like not very safe. Yeah. There was just a lot going on. Fast forwarding some 20 some years, a man named Raymond Suave was convicted of Norma's death in 1994. And was sentenced to 10 years in prison, though many people continue to believe that Wayne Boden was Norma's killer due to the similarities between Norma's death and the deaths of the other women he killed, like Shirley.
Yeah. Wait, why was he convicted? Do you know?
Like, how was he convicted?
Yeah, like how did he get connected to the murder?
I think he was like, oh, I killed her.
Oh. Okay, well, that's not
because
that's not evidence.
Because Wayne Boden always denied killing Norma. He's like, I did not kill that woman.
Oh, but then he confessed to the other ones.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
So maybe this guy was like doing a copycat thing.
No, Norma was killed before Shirley, so maybe Wayne copycat.
Oh,
that one.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe they're just both sexual sadists and we're like, I'm gonna kill this woman and bite her breasts.
That's so fucked. Yeah. Did you know a lot of that came, how do I put this? A lot of like sexual sadism comes from those like penny comics.
Oh, yeah.
You know the ones I'm talking about? No, I can't remember what they're called pulp fiction penny comic type things, which were like super misogynist.
Yeah.
And kind of like glorified and sexualized abuse of women.
Right.
So that's, I don't know, that's just an interesting thing that I learned. I was like, oh,
yeah,
weird.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to Shirley Audette, the Montreal police interviewed previous partners of hers, and they were all cleared. And investigators at the crime scene couldn't find any evidence to suggest another person had even been there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's like covering his tracks.
Damn.
So the bite marks were kept from the press and the general public as a Norma's case. So the police were like, similarities, what's going on here? And the coroner wasn't able to find any skin under her fingernails either. So there's like no trace of another person being there other than the bite marks on her.
Sorry, this is Shirley that you're talking about? Okay.
And of course they were like, oh, well, obviously she didn't fight back. Well, obviously she probably fucking did.
Yeah.
Unless she was like knocked unconscious.
Yeah, true.
At this point, the police are concerned that there's a serial killer operating within Montreal and believe he will murder another young woman in a short amount of time. And I mean, they were kind of right, but it was like more the start of a serial killer. And it is just awful. A month later, a woman named Marielle Archambault, who lived in the same area as Norma Villancourt, was found dead in her apartment. So like another similarity that the police were like, I think the same guy is doing this.
Yeah. That's crazy because usually they're like, oh, this is weird. Why? These are the same, but it must not be the same person.
Yeah. Actually, I will say that the investigative work in the case, like in all of these cases, and just like when Wayne Boden comes into the picture, I actually think that they did a pretty good job.
Oh, good.
I was like,
wow.
Kind of shook. I was like, okay.
Crazy.
Up.
That's great.
By mid-November, Marielle mentioned to friends that she might be involved in something or with someone she might not be able to get out of.
Oh no, like the other girl.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I know. And her coworkers saw Boden, who at the time, he went by the name of Bill. So he was telling women that his name was Bill.
Okay.
And her coworkers saw him waiting outside of the jewelry store that she worked at, waiting to like pick her up and go on a date.
Right.
And they noted that he was handsome, like I said earlier. And I think the reason that they actually remembered him is because Marielle spoke English with him, but her first language was French.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So this kind of stuck out to them.
Yeah.
And so on November 26th, when Marielle didn't show up for work, her boss decided to call her. After hours of no contact, a caretaker in her building checked on her apartment after receiving a call from her work to check on her. And so the caretaker is the one who found her dead in her living room.
Oof. Yikes.
And homicide detectives were there within minutes.
Wow.
They were just freaking on it. Yeah. So Marielle was laying on her couch in a housecoat, although another source said that she was found clothed with her pantyhose and like her bra ripped. Yeah. Nonetheless, she was sexually assaulted and she had bite marks on her breasts, similar to Shirley Audette. During the investigation of Marielle's apartment, the police found a crumpled picture of Bill, who was identified by her coworkers.
Oh, interesting.
Nothing was overtly disturbed in her home, so they also believe she let her killer in. Believing it was likely someone she knew or someone she was dating at the time.
Yeah.
But the photo wasn't identified by like her close friends.
Oh.
So
who was it identified?
Her coworkers.
So
they find this photo. They're like, who's this guy? So then when they're interviewing like her friends and her family and her coworkers are like, that's Bill. And her friends are like, well, I don't know.
They didn't say like, oh, that's the English speaking guy.
No, her friends were like, I don't know who that is.
Damn. That's unfortunate. I was gonna say, like, it kind of seems like what he does is, like, dates them and kind of gains their trust,
and
quote,
then kills
unquote.
them.
Yeah. But they're also, like, they have a bad feeling about it, but they can't leave. Or they feel like maybe he's, like, stalking them or taking it a little too far or whatever. And that they're, like, obviously, they're in danger.
Yeah. But, yeah, very, like, predatory and, like, gross behavior.
Yeah. Super gross behavior.
And so the police released this photo to the media, and this was the first time that the public like also realized the possible links between the 3 murders by a man named Bill, who meets people in public, takes them on a few dates, and preys on women.
Wow.
Who are newer to Montreal. So they're not all from there.
Right.
They've like moved there.
Oh, that's the worst, because you're trying to find friends.
Yeah.
And you're trying to be like he could so easily be like, oh, I can like show you around and like blah blah blah. Ew.
Yeah.
Die.
And so this results in a widespread panic, with the media focusing on Bill, who they lay out as the kind of man who meets a woman out at a bar, charms them, and kills them. Classic.
Yeah.
Classic killer behavior. Over the next few weeks, the police are overwhelmed with the amount of phone calls from people who believe they know the man in the photo.
Whoa.
And many people are taken in for questioning, but the police are unlucky. And no one knows anything.
Shit.
And at this point, Wayne Boden gets the moniker Strangler Bill.
Okay.
So that's how he was known in Montreal.
Whoa.
And in one article, the picture of the man was actually said to be an old friend of Marielle's who passed away.
Oh.
So it's not him.
even him.
No. So the police
Wait,
put
what?
this photo out, and it's not even him.
Oh my god. Wait, why did they think it was him? Because when they showed the photo to her coworkers, they said
they
it was
misidentified him. Yeah. So
This is the thing. All men in the 60s look the same, so...
yeah. So one article said that it was an old friend of hers who passed away. And other articles, and I think in the TV show, claimed it was actually her dead father.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get it together, people. What is the truth? It can't be multiple things.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
Either way,
what?
I don't think the photo was Wayne Boden at all.
Okay, yeah.
And Marielle's co-workers were just not credible eyewitnesses. And that just goes to show that eyewitness accounts just aren't credible.
Yeah.
Because obviously
really
they just saw this like tall guy with like dark hair or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the guy in the picture probably was the same.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, that's him.
Jeez.
Okay. A few months later, on January 16th, 1970, a woman named Jean Way enters a photo shop where she tells the man working there that there's a man outside who's bothering her. And she asks if she can leave through the back door of the photo development place. So the man, he's the owner of the shop. He allows her to pass through, but he doesn't see anyone outside the store. Like lurking around. That night, Jean's boyfriend Brian shows up at her apartment to pick her up for a date, but she doesn't answer the door.
No, he knew her plan.
Thinking she's running late, he decides he'll go back later. Firstly, I'm not sure if this was common in the 60s/70s as like a societal thing, but if I showed up at someone's house at like a planned time and they didn't answer the door, I wouldn't just be like, well, I guess they're busy. Like, I guess they're running late, and then be like, I'll just come back in half an hour.
It's tough to know because the world's so different with, like, communication.
Yeah. I understand, like, they didn't have cell phones, obviously.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, if you have an agreed upon time...
Yeah.
And you show up, and they don't answer, it's like...
Yeah. Unless they were someone that did that often. Like, maybe she was late a lot, and he was like, oh, this is just, like, par for the course, and I'll just come back in a bit. Maybe. It's so tough to know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I probably also, if it was someone that I knew that was, like, often late, I would be like, I'll just wait. I'll come back.
Yeah.
But if I knew that they weren't and they were always on time, then I would be worried.
But, like, if you knew... But I just am like, he probably thought she was late and was still getting ready. So that's the part where I'm like, why wouldn't he just stay there if he thinks she's getting ready? Like, not
and
late
she's
getting
in
home. Because she's supposed to be home at this time, getting ready. He's supposed to come pick her up for the date. So he's like, oh, she's probably running behind, like, getting ready.
Right.
You're her partner. Like, why... Like,
why can't you just go inside?
Why can't you hang out with her when she's getting ready?
Yeah.
That's why I'm so like, huh? Like, he just leaves.
I get it. Like, she's not late. Okay, I understand now.
Yeah.
She's not late getting home. She should be in the apartment.
She should be home.
Yeah, then I wouldn't leave.
Right? So, I don't know. It just seems like Brian was like, I guess I'll come back in a bit. Maybe she'll be ready then. But yeah, I don't know. He leaves, and when he goes back to the apartment a while later, there's still no answer at the door. So then he just tries to open it, and it opens.
Oh.
And it's unlocked.
Ooh, okay. Well, people, did they really lock their doors? I don't know.
Well, so he walks into her apartment and finds Jean's dead body on her bed.
Oh, God.
Unlike the other murders, Jean's body and apartment showed signs of a struggle. So it was messy in there.
Oh, no.
And during her autopsy, Dr. Jean-Paul Valcourt found 2 small fibers under her fingernails of her left hand, which were likely from a jacket or a shirt. Though I'm not sure if these fibers were actually ever identified. They didn't really say so. Or if the technology was advanced enough for people to discern where they came from.
Right.
It was just like, fiber.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Weird.
It's believed now that with the public looking out for a guy named Bill, Wayne Boden was more forceful with Jean in that he, like, really forced his way into her apartment. Because I think with the other 2, he was seeing them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they knew him. So they were like, oh, it's Bill.
Right.
Open the door, let him in.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
and then he kills them.
And with Jean, she was already trying to escape him earlier.
Yeah, she's like, this guy's following me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he's like very predatory with her.
Ew.
More so, I think he was probably pissed off.
Yeah.
With like people being scared, and their awareness is like a lot of people's awareness was heightened, and they're like looking for a guy named Bill.
And probably like her not complying with him. Like he was probably mad at her for like saying no.
Yeah.
This is why it's so hard for women to like say no to men, because you don't know how they're going to react.
Yeah. And we don't know what happened with the other 2. Like, it is possible that they were physical. That they had like a physical relationship, and then he clearly was taking it too far, and they were like, don't do that, or maybe, you know, and then he just strangled them.
Yeah, totally.
So we don't know exactly what happened, but it seemed that he actually forced his way into her apartment, and she tried to get him out because it was just a mess. So it was clear she fought for her life, but sadly he was able to overpower her. So it's thought that the first time Brian came by her apartment, Wayne Boden was inside killing her.
What?
Yeah, because the door was closed and locked.
Oh, it
and
was
then,
locked when
I think
he first got there?
And then when he comes back, the door was unlocked.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible, terrible. Yeah. Oh my God.
So Wayne Boden was inside with Jean either right before killing her.
Wow.
Or just having killed her.
Wow. Ugh,
when Brian knocked on the door the first time. And it's awful to think she was maybe still alive, and like he overpowered her so much, he was like, you know, like, shut up or I'll kill you kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then he ended up killing her anyway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so after Jean's death, fear gripped the streets even more in Montreal. And so this is really when mass hysteria began. People were freaking out. They're like, oh my God, there's a serial killer around. Women were like going out in groups, and people were staying away from men named Bill.
Oh no.
And people were like afraid to like go out like downtown into the nightlife.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, there's this guy picking up girls in the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
So due to the pressure and publicity of the murders, Wayne Boden fled the city and ended up where, you say? Calgary, Alberta.
What?
Yeah. We're going back to our hometown.
Wait. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Calgary in the 70s was a time of economic boom. Again.
Truly.
It's economic booming.
It's booming.
It's booming.
People loved it there.
Peak oil production.
Give us
booming.
The resources.
In the late 60s. But then in 1973, there was an oil crisis.
Holy
Due
shit.
to the peak in production years earlier.
That's right. Wow. Who would have ever predicted something like that?
Listen,
I thought oil was endless.
Listen, Finnerty, I'm so sorry. I couldn't understand the information. I really tried my best. I read it. I don't understand how they had peak production and then like 13 years later, they're like, oh, too much oil. Oil crisis.
Wait, was the crisis because there was too much oil,
I don't know,
or
it had
was
to
the
do with, like,
crisis
the
because they ran
pricing.
out?
No, they didn't run out. It just had to do with like
No, it makes
the
sense.
pricing. Anyway, sorry, Finnerty. I don't understand. You can look into it.
Okay, this is what you want to know. My theory is that you make too much of something. Now it's not worth anything.
Yes.
And now you're not making your money on the thing.
Yes, I
That's
think
the crisis.
Well, because we send our oil to the U.S. and then we buy it back.
Yes. I guess we're fine there.
Yes. Anyway, I don't understand this. When you think Calgary, you think oil.
It's true. Have you seen those guys? The metal guys that go doink, doink, doink.
So this time period for Calgary also saw a spike in population. It doubled between the 60s and the late 80s from like 300,000 to 600 to over 600,000 people.
Yeah.
And I talked to Mom about this because I was like, oh, I'm doing a story and part of it's based in Calgary. And I didn't realize that the population doubled over the course of 20 years. And it like quadrupled when
after
like Mom and Dad were like in their late teens.
Yeah.
Into their early 20s and then into their 30s when they had us too.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't realize just how much.
So much.
It grew.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. Also during this time, the Calgary Tower was still the tallest building, unlike today. But I thought you guys would want to know that.
Love it.
Also, Calgary sits on the lands of the Métis, Blackfoot, and Stoney nations.
Thank you.
There's so much especially in that area, there's so much overlapping that it, like, I believe that I probably missed a couple nations as well.
Yeah.
And treaties as well.
Yeah. And it was different than here. Like how the treaty system operated was a little bit different.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It is also reported that crime in Calgary was going up in the 70s as an influx of people from the east of Canada were moving to Calgary.
All the crimies from the east?
Yeah, like Wayne Boden.
Shit.
Yeah. So he's not the only one who brought crime into Calgary.
That's wild.
Yeah, I guess the 70s was just a lawless time for all cities everywhere.
It's true. It really is true.
Which is just crazy. Like, more people, more crime, I guess.
Yep. That's it. So,
in April of 1971...
How dare you?
I know.
That's my birth month.
Oops. 33-year-old woman named Elizabeth Ann Porteous took a trip with a coworker to Banff. While she was there, she goes to a bar when she's approached by a man who wants to meet up with her when she's back in Calgary. A few weeks later in May, she tells her coworker she's going on a date with a man she recently met. When she doesn't show up to work at Bowness High School...
Wait, what?
Yeah.
When?
1971.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Someone from the school tried calling her home, but there was no answer, so they called the caretaker of the high-rise she lived in to check on her. That afternoon, the caretaker went to Elizabeth's apartment, where they found her on her living room floor, semi-clothed. Bill Crabb, a forensic expert, was among those first on the scene. Once the photographs were taken, investigators found that her dress was torn open, and they found bite marks, like a bite mark trail from the left side of her neck down to her right breast.
Ugh.
With such force that whoever did it was Wayne Boden, bit through some of her breast tissue.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So bad.
There were no signs of a serious struggle as the apartment was in order. And the police found when dusting for prints that the surfaces had been wiped down. So this led them to believe whoever did this had killed before.
Right. And of course they wouldn't be chatting with Montreal being like, hey.
We'll get there.
Okay.
They found 7 out of 8 buttons from Elizabeth's dress. She was wearing like a blue button-up dress.
Cute.
And during her autopsy, they found a cuff link that was embedded into her shoulder.
Oh.
Like, you know, sometimes you sit on something for too long and then it gets stuck to your butt?
Yeah.
Like that, just on her shoulder. Like, it wasn't in her skin. It was just like...
Oh, okay.
kind of stuck on her. Like, but it wasn't
But
like,
cufflinks are heavy.
yeah, but it wasn't like, it didn't like pierce her skin.
Oh, I see.
It just was like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like they moved her body and then they brought it to the morgue and then.
There was like a mark.
No, like the cuff, like they sat her up or something and the cufflink fell off.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Weird.
Pretty intense.
Yeah.
So, friends and coworkers told police she was going on a date with a man they didn't know the night of her murder, though no one really knows who he was or how they met. But I think they met in Banff.
Yeah.
When she was there in April.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
On the day of her murder, a coworker of hers saw her in a car with a young man in his early to mid-20s.
What?
As he was describing what she was wearing, the police realized it was the dress that she was found in. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So her coworker saw her the afternoon
before she was killed. Oh, God.
Yeah. One of her friends also mentioned to police that Elizabeth had recently begun dating a man named Bill, who they described as a flashy dresser with short hair. So the car that she was seen in became a focus in their investigation. It was a light blue Mercedes with a bobblehead, or in other reports, a bull decal in the rearview window. So it's just kind of more notable than just a blue Mercedes. It was like, oh, this one has this in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they began scanning for cars with the description when they found one registered to a man who lived a block away from Elizabeth.
Oh.
By scanning for cars, I mean, they literally combed through all the registered paper, all the registered blue Mercedes papers.
Whoa.
From like DMV records.
Yeah. Like by hand.
By hand.
Yep.
Looked at all the names, one by one.
Crazy.
By luck, they chose to speak with the man who lived by her first.
Wow.
And when they pulled up, they noticed a bobblehead in the back of the car.
Oh, God.
So the police go up to the apartment of who? Wayne Boden.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Who was working
oh my God.
as a traveling salesman at the time. The police described him as mild and well-mannered, and he willingly complied with police to answer some interview questions at the station.
Yeah, of course you would.
Detectives Madsen and Raymer spoke with Boden, who claimed he went to dinner with Elizabeth, but that she was fine when he left her apartment on the evening of May 18th.
Oh, she was fine, huh? She was fine. She was just fine. Just fine.
She's fine.
She's just fine.
She's fine.
She's great.
I just left.
Doing great. Just left.
During the interview...
Someone else must have come in.
Boden,
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah. He was calm and unbothered.
Fuck him.
Yeah, he's
like,
actually
holy.
the fucking worst. He's just like, okay, I'll come answer some questions. And he's just like, so like,
calm.
Just like, yeah, like they're not gonna get me. Like, I don't know what the fuck was going through his head.
Narcissism.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So at some point, because they weren't getting anywhere, one of the detectives outright asked if Wayne had lost anything. And he said, yeah, a cufflink.
Oh.
And so they were like, oh my God, this is our guy.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
And he just like, one of the detectives just asked this randomly, like, oh, did you lose anything recently?
Here's the thing. This is the thing. These fucking men think they're so smart.
I know.
They're so full of themselves.
And they're so stupid.
And they're so stupid.
They're like, so
you're
dumb.
Literally giving away that you were there.
Yeah.
And you probably did this shit.
Yeah.
Like,
huh?
You're not smart.
No.
Stop pretending that you're fucking smart. Like, I know. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. I just got mad for a second.
Yeah. So he was arrested in the interview room, obviously. They were like, this cufflink? He's like, yeah, that's mine. Fuck you. What the hell?
Wow.
And he never even said anything. He was just like, okay.
Wait, how could they arrest him? That doesn't really give you, like, grounds to be arrested to just...
Circumstantial evidence.
Is that enough? Is that strong enough?
Well, he was, eyewitness, so he was seen with her that day, and then he admitted to having dinner with her and going to her apartment and his cuff, and he was like, yeah, that's my cufflink.
Right, so they can just, like, hold him
for 24 hours or whatever.
Right, so they gotta really get something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
They were like, you're under arrest, and he was like, I didn't do it. But he still wasn't mad. Like, he didn't get mad. He was just like, I didn't do it.
Yeah. Classic.
He was just like, I lost that cufflink like
Aw.
a while ago.
Oh, a while ago? Well, that's weird that it was found under her body.
Yeah, like they had been seeing, like maybe they'd been seeing each other a couple times.
Then why was it on the floor?
That's what I'm saying.
During a struggle. Seems like it came off during a struggle to me.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep. Okay.
During their investigation into Elizabeth's death and Wayne Boden being the killer, Calgary police found out he used to live in Montreal. And they united.
Woo!
The police forces communicated.
That's actually huge.
We love this.
For those who don't know,
Teamwork.
it is very common for police forces of different jurisdictions to be like, no, it's ours. No, it's ours. No, it's ours. No,
Yeah.
actually, it's ours.
Or they just are like, oh, they used to live here? Whatever.
Yeah, but I feel like that's also more of a states thing for them to be like, no, we get this case and we're going to solve it before you. Whereas it makes sense that Canada's like, let's try to work together here a little bit.
I wonder if that's because on a state level, the states has the FBI and then they have like their state police and then they have like their county police.
Right.
And here we have the RCMP on a federal level,
Level.
which is still like police. It's
Yeah.
not the FBI.
Yeah,
So maybe that has something to do
maybe.
with the communication between provinces.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Telling Montreal police about Boden's case in Calgary, the descriptions matched with the 3 cases in Montreal. During interviews, Boden didn't crack at all. He's like, I didn't do it. And Detective Raymer realized normal interrogation techniques didn't work because he wasn't remorseful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're like trying to get him to feel guilty, and he was like,
No.
whatever.
No empathy. Sociopathic.
Yeah.
Narcissist. Classic.
He continued to maintain his innocence, though detectives found the missing button from Elizabeth's dress in his apartment.
Oh, why?
Remember, they
did
found
he
7
keep
out of
that?
8 buttons.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A
'Cause
treasure?
He's an idiot.
Yeah. Ew. Wow.
Now, odontology. The study of teeth.
Woohoo.
Detective Raymer
yeah.
had read an article from England where bite marks were identified on victims, which aided police in catching offenders. So he's put in contact with Dr. Swan, an orthodontist in Calgary. And a while later, Wayne Boden was brought to Swan's office to complete a set of dental impressions. And he fully complied. They, like, brought him there.
That's so crazy.
He's like, yeah, I'll give you my teeth impressions.
Bro,
I know.
don't you think that
So delulu.
this is going wrong for you? No.
Like, he just doesn't give a shit.
No. He's not connecting the dots or foreseeing the upcoming consequences of
No,
his
he
actions.
just doesn't care.
No. Crazy.
Yeah. I also saw in some articles that Dr. Swan asked the FBI for help, who directed him to someone in the UK who knew of 20 to 30 cases with odontological evidence. But in the TV show, it says that Detective Raymer read an article from the UK on odontology. So
Interesting.
again, crossing wires. I don't really know.
Who knows?
Who knows? But
Somehow they got
someone read about odontology in a forensic journal.
Love it.
Or they talked to someone from the UK. Finally, the police have some solid evidence that Wayne was in Elizabeth's apartment the night she died. 1, the eyewitness of her coworker placing her in Wayne's car the evening of her murder, combined with the dress she was wearing that day, and one of her buttons being found in Wayne's apartment, and his cufflink being found under her body. Dr. Swan added to this evidence by showing detectives that the dental impressions taken from Boden were a match to the bite marks left on Elizabeth's breasts.
Wow.
Dr. Swan was able to attain the information he needed, and after acquiring the dental impressions, it's a cast really, he showed and demonstrated 29 points of
Whoa.
the teeth that translated from the bite marks on Elizabeth to the dental impressions.
That's a lot.
Yeah, he was
That's
like, the canines fit, the front teeth fit, this fits, the bite fits.
Whoa. Cha-ching. Got him.
Isn't that crazy?
Fucking got him.
I know. I was like, whoa, this is so interesting to me. Confronted with this evidence, Boden's world began to crumble. Within 1 week, he confessed to the murder of Elizabeth Porteous, claiming he drove her home and, quote, snapped, unquote.
Okay.
That it was too much for him to remember as he blacked out.
Oh my God. Fuck this guy.
Like, yeah. When pressed with the Montreal cases, he confessed again. And so detectives from Montreal soon arrived in Calgary, and Boden claimed to kill Shirley, Marielle, and Jean, but again denied killing Norma. On February...
Really interesting.
I know. So that other guy...
He probably didn't.
Raymond Suave.
Yes. Maybe he did it.
I think it's very probable that he did, but at the same time, like, he was convicted for it. He did go to jail for it.
Did Wayne know that the other guy went to jail, was convicted and went to jail for that crime? Or was Wayne convicted first?
Wayne's convicted first, and Wayne was in prison by the time that Raymond was convicted. Because he was convicted in the early 90s.
Right.
So it took 20-something years to find Norma's killer.
Because I was going to say, like, maybe if it was the other way around, then maybe Wayne would have been like, oh, well, someone's already said that they did it, so I'm just going to leave it.
Well, I assume that they used the dental impressions to compare with pictures of the other women, like with Shirley and
Norma.
And Norma and Marielle and Jean. And I guess just with Norma, they didn't match up. Right. I assume.
So weird.
You have to assume that they
tried their best.
Did their best.
Yeah. And
compared the evidence and were just like, oh, that's just someone else killed Norma in the same fashion than Wayne's MO was.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
So on February 14th, 1972, Wayne Boden appeared in Supreme Court for the murder of Elizabeth Porteous. During the trial, he retracted his confession and pleaded not guilty.
Okay.
Using the dental castings as their primary evidence, Boden was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison.
Yep.
He was the first person to be convicted in North America based on odontological evidence.
Wow. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, right?
Damn.
I know. Good job, Canada.
Good job.
Good job, Dr. Swan.
Yeah.
He did
Honestly, yeah, shout out. Canada has nothing to do with it.
No.
Dr. Swan has everything to do with it.
Shout out Dr. Swan.
Love it.
Probably passed by now.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
All right.
On April 12th, 1972, he went to trial in Montreal, where he pleaded guilty to the 3 murders of Shirley, Marielle, and Jean, and received 3 additional life sentences, which were to be carried out where? Kingston Penitentiary.
Oh, yep. Bye-bye.
While this is where the murders end, there's one more tidbit about Wayne Boden. On May 4th, 1984, while on a supervised day pass from Kingston, which I didn't see when I was researching Kingston, but I guess they had day passes.
Okay, that makes sense for people who have, like, lower offenses.
Yeah.
But
this guy murdered 4 people.
Okay. Fine. I guess the humanity aspect, fine, whatever. As long as he's actually being fully supervised.
So he's on a supervised day pass with, like, his parole officer, social worker person. Okay. I don't know. And so they're out for lunch. And what does he do? Escapes from a bathroom window.
That's what I was trying to say. Like, what? That's not being supervised.
No. Go to the bathroom with him.
Yeah.
Hello. It was the 80s.
Okay. And then what?
3 prison guards from Kingston were disciplined. I don't know why.
Okay.
Maybe for giving him
a day pass. Yeah. He fucking swindled them, though. It's not really their fault.
And get this. The credit card company, American Express, they're involved. They had to do an internal investigation because someone gave Wayne Boden a credit card while he was in prison.
What? Oh my God.
Someone gave him an American Express.
Okay, tell me though, did he get caught again?
So while on the run, he spent his evenings at a bar with a woman.
Oh. Oh.
And she didn't know who he was.
Oh, no.
Because he was wearing regular
girly.
clothes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And he
Yeah.
probably used the name Bill again.
Yeah, he did.
Also, I was thinking about this. Is Bill short for Wayne? Do you know what I mean?
I think people do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Isn't that crazy though? He went to the bar and was trying to pick up this girl, and poor
With his
girl, she
American
didn't know
Express.
who he was.
Okay. I'm scared for her.
It's okay. He was caught a few days later
Okay.
and put back into Kingston.
And she was fine?
She was fine.
Okay.
She was like, bye.
Holy.
So he lived out the rest of his days in Kingston Pen until March of...
day passes for him.
No more day passes.
No.
Until March of 2006, when he was sent to Kingston General Hospital, where he died from skin cancer.
Bye.
Known as the vampire rapist or strangler Bill, Wayne Boden haunted the people of Montreal for years and likely startled the population of Calgary in 1971.
Yeah, I just got chills.
I hope the women he murdered, Shirley Audette, Marielle Archambault, Jean Way, and Elizabeth Ann Porteous, have found peace. And also stop giving serial killers these weird monikers. It's weird.
Yeah.
And it tries to separate their name from their crimes, which
Yeah.
I don't really believe in.
And it also kind of like makes them seem cool and like, ooh, this cool thing.
Like, ugh, they're a monster, not
Yeah.
like a human being.
Yeah.
They're a human being.
Yeah.
Their
exactly.
brain neurons are
Not.
just not like others.
No. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
I was just so shocked that Elizabeth Porteous worked at Bonus High.
Yeah. Honestly.
I was like, what?
That's crazy.
And so I was texting Opa and I was like, oh, I'm doing research for a case right now, and part of it took place in Calgary. He's like, I hope it didn't take place in my house. And I was like,
Oh my God.
It's like, I don't really know what neighborhood you live in now, so
Yeah.
could be. It's
Could
not.
be. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh.
But anyway,
Crazy.
that is that.
Wow.
And
Thank you
yeah,
for sharing that story.
thank you.
That is a crazy story.
Anyway,
Anyway.
thanks for listening, and sorry, Finnerty, for not doing my research properly.
No, it's fine.
I'm
Hee
kidding.
hee. I don't think that's what she means.
I know. It's just funny.
Thanks for being our biggest fan.
Thanks for being... We have so many big fans.
It's true, but Finity's never missed an episode.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So I think
Oh.
Gold Star Award. Whoever
Yeah.
listens all the time without missing an episode, you get a gold star. And let us know, and we'll give you a shout out.
Yeah. Shout out corner.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, thanks for listening. Thank you,
you.
Sarah, for sharing that story.
Thank you. Stay safe out there, everybody. Don't go home with
Don't-
someone from the bar.
Don't date men.
Listen to your instincts. That's all
Yes.
that's the advice I have for you. Listen to your instincts. You know
You know.
based on vibes if
Yeah.
someone is creeping you out or not.
Yep. And try your best to get the hell out of there. Call for help. Call a friend for help.
Yeah.
Say, oh, I have to go. My husband's in the car.
Share your location.
Share your location. We have really cool technology now.
Yeah, also, I don't know if you know this, but with iPhone, you can set it so I have it so if I press my lock button 5 times, the emergency, it'll call
SOS.
emergency SOS. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So you could do that secretly.
Yes. You just have it in your back pocket or
Yeah.
something, like bam, 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 bam. And then
So
you're good.
there's a safety tip.
Yep. And you can also send like check-ins as well.
Yes.
To see.
So cool.
Be
Make
like-
sure people arrive where they're supposed to be.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you don't check in once you get there, then it'll be like, did you make it? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Then it'll tell the other person they have not responded
yeah.
to. Yeah. It's
It's
pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
Also, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. Exactly.
Go out there in the dark. Listen, I ran in the dark.
Yeah. Just don't hurt people.
Don't hurt people. Be kind.
Be kind. Be loving. Be kind.
Exactly.
And we hope you keep listening, and we will see you next time. Bye. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or have your own story that you would like to share with us, you can email us at ghoulsocietypod@gmail.com, or you can give us a follow and DM us on Instagram at ghoulsocietypod. Please leave us a review, a rating of 5 stars, if you will, on
5 stars.
Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to this podcast. And, oh yes, trigger warnings, resources can be found in each episode's description. And we hope you have a beautiful Sunday.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Rizzler, Ohio, ba-da-ba-da, skiddy-dee, skiddy, scat, skidoot, boo.
Welcome to our scatting podcast.
Oh, God. I'll go talk to him.
Okay.
But, yeah, well.
Sorry, we're working in here. This is literally our job.
Yeah, Bristol, this is our job. He's trying to make breakfast.